Shall we start? Yeah, okay. So few, what a shame. All right then. So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And if your feet are down on the ground, like you're sitting in a chair, your feet are down, make sure you can have a little cushion underneath your feet, but you don't want your legs sort of dangling down there. They need to be nicely sitting on the floor. You can put a cushion under there. You can put a little cushion under your coccyx. And make sure your pelvis is nice and straight, so it's not tipping back side to side, backwards and forwards. And you just imagine you have a bowl of fluid in there that you don't want to spill. The hands in the meditation mudra in the lap, just resting gently, the right hand nestled in the left and the thumbs touching. And you can imagine your shoulders are over your hips and that your spine is made of a string of pearls of light, stretching from the coccyx all the way up through the crown of the head and out the top. And you can imagine that perhaps there is somebody there who is very gently lengthening the spine. So, after a day of, like sitting, walking around, gravity starts to take over, and then you do, you shrink a little bit during the day. So you want to kind of expand and lengthen. Get some space in between those discs. And keep the energy moving in the body. So when you're all constricted, you restrict energy, you restrict blood vessels, you restrict nerves. And then that can lead to problems later on. So just make sure you're expanding. It's the best way to do. Head is slightly tipped forward. If your head is too far back, you create agitation in the mind. Eyes are down, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and the lips are slightly apart. So let's just bring our attention to the crown of the head. Relax the scalp, the forehead, the nose, the cheeks. This area around the mouth and the jaw. Go to the back of the head and relax the scalp there. And your ears, and you can go inside your ears. Just relax inside the ears. And relax your neck, shoulders, your back. And just try not to lean into whatever solid surface you've got behind you. Relax your throat and your belly, and chest, the arms, the hands, the fingers, the legs and the feet and the toes. And let's just bring our mind to the breath. And just notice the sensation of the cool air as you're breathing in and the slightly warmer air as you're breathing out. Is there any sounds in your environment? Just allow those sounds to be there. Just part of the tapestry of your world. Try not to push them away with aversion or run towards them to find out what they're all about. Just allow them. The same thing with the thoughts as they arise and abide and fall away. Try not to follow the thoughts or make a story or have a judgment. Just allow them to simply be there. So a river of mental moments. As we think about a motivation for tonight. So just think we'll be doing this Vajrasattva practice in the context of the four opponent powers to try and pull out some of those negative seeds. So they don't ripen as suffering in the future. Okay, so just remembering that there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this is basically a psychological process that we're engaging in here. So we would create negativity with our mind, so we can counteract that with positivity. We can change our minds. Our brains are flexible, our minds are flexible. That has plasticity. So first of all is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, or in past lives. And think of a specific action from today. Maybe last week, something you said. Maybe you looked at somebody in a way that wasn't very pleasant. Maybe you didn't talk to somebody when they wanted to talk to you. Maybe you trod on an ant. Whatever. We have a myriad things that we do as a result of the delusions that are in our mind. And again, remembering this is all based on the logic of karma. So any suffering that we cause to others will necessarily ripen for us in the future. We don't want that. We know from our present suffering that it's unpleasant. So we just think, I regret from the depths of my heart harming others with my body and my speech, any vows I have broken, Pratamoksha, Bodhisattva, Tantric vows, or monk and nun vows if they've been degenerated or we've forgotten what they are. Sincerely regret in the depths of my heart because we don't want the future suffering. So we think, okay, who can I turn to? What can I do about this? And here we come to the power of reliance, and it has two little sections, refuge and compassion. So the first is refuge. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha Vajrasattva, the doctor who has the methods we can use to purify ourselves. So we're not asking Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So visualize Guru Vajrasattva at the crown of your head, about 2 inches above the crown of your head, facing the same direction as you. And this brilliant, brilliant light being. He is, you can imagine the mind of your guru manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful, white light. And he's dressed in these unbelievable silken robes. They're just kind of flowing in space, like the royal aspect. He's sitting cross-legged on a lotus. He's this radiant, beautiful face. He's looking at you and all sentient beings simultaneously without any judgment. Just accepts you exactly as you are. Has these lotus-like eyes, long, peaceful.
Engineer or engineer.
Sorry about that. Turn this off. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and there being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. So we say a refuge prayer here. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So the second section is compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely on other beings. And in this case, those beings we have harmed and who have harmed us. So first of all, maybe think of someone you may have harmed and try and develop some sentient being and try and develop compassion for them. And then for a sentient being that has harmed you, which is a little bit more difficult. But just remember the harm that they've given to you, your karma has purified. You've experienced it. It won't happen again. Their karma is only just beginning. So we make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings. And you just think, I must purify for their sake. So the next is the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, the doing of the practice of purification. So the first is the purification of the body. So imagine Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, like very quite forcefully, quite strongly from his heart. It arcs around and enters your crown, pouring into your entire body, filling you completely. It keeps coming and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of this kind of inky black liquid, and it pours out of you and it disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutakaya Mebawa Subukaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutakaya Mebawa Subukaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutakaya Mebawa Subukaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything to anyone other than be of harm, other than be of enormous benefit to them. How amazing that would be. Every time anyone sees you walking down the street, immediately brightens their mind. Next is a purification of the speech. So again, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. It arcs around, forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. And this time forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And it overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you. So we recite the mantra as we visualize this. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yasa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, feel so happy. Your speech is now completely purified, and imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than be of benefit to others with your speech. Incredible. Every time they hear your voice, it benefits their mind. So next is a purification of the mind. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of laser light this time from his heart chakra, and it fills your entire being. And just as LAMA YESHE says, when you walk into a room and you switch on a light, the darkness in that room is instantly dispelled. So in the same way, just as the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all our attachment and neediness, anger, violence, depression, and bitterness, and grudges, and resentment, and jealousy, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left. As you recite the mantra, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. So be delighted, all your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, totally purified, they're gone. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time you can imagine light and nectar, or you can imagine the 3 previous visualizations all happening at the same time. Whatever you have the mental bandwidth for, or even just light. So coming from Guru Vajrasattva's heart, and as it hits your heart, the very, very subtle imprints of negativity or negative energy in your mind is purified. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasidi mebi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa ma samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. So now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So the fourth of the four opponent powers is the power of resolve. It's a really crucial step. This determination we make is a decision we make to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're going to keep following the same old patterns. And so this aspiration becomes a beacon that guides us. And as Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, everything exists on the tip of the wish, the aspiration. So maybe just think of something that we would like to work on, something that we maybe feel a bit of regret for, that we know, something that we do, that we know either harms ourselves or harms others. So perhaps we can think, I'll just refrain from that thing for 5 minutes or 30 seconds, or when I go to bed tonight and I wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be 7 or 8 hours where I've refrained, and then rejoice. So just do what we can. Try not to make it like a New Year's Eve resolution that doesn't get kept. So don't lie to ourselves. So Guru Vajrasattva was delighted with us and wanting to merge with our mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you just think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. LAMA YESHE calls this union oneness. And so Lama Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So we just place our mind in that emptiness for a moment, to whatever extent we understand emptiness. So we can think perhaps of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. Or we can think of things as dependent arisings. So certain things are dependent on other things before they're able to come into existence. We can also think of the way our body is structured. We perceive things, we hear things, we understand things according to the way our eyes, our ears, the way we smell things. So perhaps the way we're structured is slightly different to the way a bird is structured or a dog is structured. So they may experience the world differently. So that gives us an idea that we can maybe break down these solid ideas we have about how things exist. Maybe they don't exist the way we think they do. Okay. I think, Mary, let's just go straight to the dedication. And I'll dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy that we have created by doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And perhaps we can just have a prayer for all the people in Afghanistan, the ones that didn't get out, the ones that did get out. Such a difficult situation. So just send as much positive energy and love to all these people. And then all the people in Haiti, people in Florida, and many, many people in the United States and all over the world suffering from COVID right now. People not able to get access to vaccines, people able to get vaccines but don't want them. Such a crazy time. Okay, so for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And Lama Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honoring the 3 jewels, saviour of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. Thank you, everyone. One more person joined, but we didn't manage to. Hi, Mary. We didn't manage, Barbara didn't manage to make it. So I'm really sorry. And we lost Venerable Dundrup. Oh, well.
Oh, I'm here.
You're here. Where are you? I cannot see you. Oh, there you are. Aha. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Good night. And go to bed with a happy mind. Rest happily that we've purified at least for another 24 hours or something.
Happy birthday, Eve.